Fire in the hole indeed. I had a problem with my Suzuki Boulevard C50T 2012. I was out riding with my nephew. It got dark. We're out riding. We must have rode 30-35 miles. Then we parted ways. I come home. 2 miles from the home, coming up the hill, the bike started acting like it was running out of fuel. It had plenty of fuel, fresh fuel. It had run all that time. We were riding. It was fine. Brought it home, so got it home, and I said, I'll look at it tomorrow. Next day I come out, I took the fuel tank off, and I always say, go to the easiest thing first. So I changed spark plugs, and I'm looking around, making sure everything's right, this and that. Of course, I took the air filter off, the rubber part, the intake rubber part that goes up to the carburetors, took that off. Couldn't find nothing wrong. I don't know what made me think of it. I thought I'll check the fuse box. It's on the left side down the bottom. You take a cover off. You have two 20 amp fuses and you got 6 10s. So I just start pulling each one. I found when you open it, the lid has what they're for, and I seen one, fuel. I pulled it out, checked it, it was burnt. So put a new fuse in it. I wanted to try it. Now that's a lot to put this all back together to try it. I'm old school. I'm used to the Harleys, and the old bikes have carburetors. You could run them with the air filters off, this and that. Well, it was my own fault. I had this rubber part off of it. Well, right in there is where your fuel injectors are. So if you try to start it and you got that off, all that mist is coming out of there. That wasn't the worst of it. So I just put the tank on, left that air filter and all that off, hit the starter, and thank goodness my wife Lois was standing there. And when I hit it, she said, I see fuel running down. And all of a sudden, poof, man, that thing is flaming up, and you're in a panic mode. You're trying to hurry up and figure what to grab, this and that. Well, I had a fire extinguisher, hit it, got it out. I'm like, oh man, I'm sick. There was flames coming up, this and that. So first thing, I just had to, walk around and push the bike outside and thought, thank God it didn't catch a shop on fire or anything else. I can deal with the bike. So I just calmed down. I had it out there. I got the hose out, and I hosed all that white stuff off, covered the import, so it wouldn't get watered down in where the carbs are and stuff. Hosed it off, and what it burnt a lot. Well, it looked worse than it was when I took the tank back off. Stuff all over it, and I'm like, I'm picking it off. There's a pad up under your tank, and it's for heat, to keep heat off your tank. It's like 2 pieces that go up in the tank, so up under it. So I was picking all them off and that. I haven't looked at the gas, the gas tank up underneath. It's just that stuff melts, it burns and melts. It's not fire resistant, it's for heat. So I picked all that off. I'm checking. So what is the worst of it? First thing I see is the wirings really burn up in here. I mean, and the solenoid, or the solenoids, there's 2 of them up there. They're burnt right on top of the carb. The one fuel injector's melted some. So I'm thinking, I get a wiring harness, figure out what I need for the carb, and then the 2 plastic covers that go over where your key goes in and out, those are burnt. Well, I can get them off eBay. So I started searching, and I went through a lot of pages, and I'm trying to figure out the wiring for this. So I found wiring, I ordered it, got it. I bring it in here, I look at it, it ain't the right thing. So I got it, it's not a match. I'm like, oh man, my own fault. Should have did more research. Especially, let's see, what is it? There's a thing right here that goes onto my dash. Right away I noticed that's wrong. So, my own fault. I can put that back on eBay. That's off of a used bike, So in the meantime, I'm looking at the carb. The carb got it pretty good. This thing here, I don't even know what it is. It burnt. So the plug and the thing itself is shot. There's like a lot of burning down in here. Just and of course hoses, that ain't much, but they're burnt. So here is my fuel injectors, and this one, you can see it's crooked here. It burnt. It's burnt here. The socket's not bad. These are your fuel injectors. There's a little O-ring washer goes on here. When I pulled it apart, it ripped it. It's no good. We go like that somehow. Yeah, I think like that. On this side. Yeah, it turns up. Something like that. Can't remember. But anyway, and the hose onto the tank, it ruined it. So I get on there, start looking for parts. I find a place I can buy brand new stuff, and this carburetor I found with the injectors and everything on it, brand new, $746. I'm like, whoa, man, oh man. I'm like, you know, I gotta find something cheaper. Man, oh man, you know. So in the meantime, I look for the wiring harness, the whole wiring harness. Looking and looking, and I mean, you can go like to a site and go through all their pages and pages. I did that every evening. I don't know how many evenings I sit in there. One night I'm looking, scrolling, looking, just about ready to give up. I see it. It said a 2011 Suzuki Boulevard C50T. And I always thought this was a C50, but if it's a T, it has the windshield and bags. I think that might be different. So it could be the year or whatever. But anyway, I found a 2011. The guy showed all these pictures, and they show a lot of them, of the wiring. So I'd bring the computer out here, set here, and I'm looking at this plug-in here for the dash, identical. The other one wasn't. All of them weren't. This one was identical. I looked at some other plugs, identical, identical. I said, that's it. So I ordered it. It was like $55. That ain't bad. I said, I'll get it. I got it. And the main thing I looked at first was this plug for my dash. And it's the gray, light gray. The other ones are all like a dark gray. Everything's great. He said it come off of a motorcycle that something in the engine went, so they're parting it out. And I said, all right. Ordered it, got it, everything's great. I took it in the house one night. I stay up late. I had YouTube stuff on and that, and I cleaned it, completely cleaned it real good, and everything, wiped it all down. So I got that. I said, you know, it's a lot of work to do it, but hey, I'll do the work. Then I get on and I look for carburetors. I'm thinking, I gotta come up with carburetors. Here I come across the site. A guy had that 2011. It wasn't the same guy because I checked, but another guy had 2011, the carbs. And I mean, he shows a lot of pictures. I looked, and the main thing is, did it have this part? Now, I am not sure. I'll have to look into it. But I thought they said when they went to the newer years of these bikes, they put a little thing that puts just a little bit of heat in there so it doesn't ice up. And icing up, I know that from running my aircraft. It can happen in the middle of the hot summer. That fuel going through your carb can actually get colder, even though it's hot out. It can get colder and ice up. And a lot of the certified aircraft have heaters on their carburetors for that, so that don't happen. And I think that's what they did on this, and I think that's what this is for. I'm not sure. I have to have identical. So I seen it, I looked at it, $175 from over $700. I said, well, I could go that route. So I ordered them, ordered it. Here it is. Even got the fuel thing on it, the hoses for the he even put the sensors, left the sensors on for me. 2 brand new sensors, beautiful, everything. And you can see it has the thing that melted on mine here. Perfect. I put them side by side, looked. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, when I tried to start it, when it caught in fire, it's setting like this. I had that rubber thing off and everything and all that stuff. And these injectors are right, well, these are sensors here. But that mist comes up out of there, and I don't know if I had a leak because of this. And you don't know you have the leak because you can take this off and it won't run out. But once you hit that starter and the pump's putting it in, you'll hear it. A lot of times when you turn your bike on, you hear that little bit of running if you listen real careful. The needle on the dash always goes up and down and makes a noise. Once that stops, you listen, that's your fuel pump putting fuel into here. And that's what happened. That fuel was going in here, spraying out, and the fire just come up through here, and wherever I had that leak, it hit it. And I mean, it was quick. Now, this is the reason I don't work on anybody's stuff anymore. I used to do brake jobs. You know, I'd work on anybody's bike, do anything. What if this would have been somebody's bike I was working on, doing them a favor, and it could be a real good friend of mine? I mean, best of friends, you know. I have to make that right. So, and then the guy's going to be without a bike. Maybe he wants to go on a trip. How are you going to research all this and get it all? So, that's a good reason, is because of liability. Here, before I got the carburetor, I looked online, and a guy was selling these. Let's see, they were $21.19. The 2 sensors I needed. So I have them extra. I don't care. I'm just so glad I got everything I needed. Well, now with this carburetor, it come off a running bike, I don't have to worry about what was not working right, this and that. I think when I get this all done, I think that'll be everything. Oh, the tank, the gas tank, it was flaming up. I first pushed it out there and went around and looked. That tank is all black on the side. I thought, man, that ruined the paint. I could never paint it like, you know, factory, that. And I was like, oh, man, maybe I can find a tank, you know. I took a rag, wiped it. Then I got a little bit of some stuff put on it and started wiping it. It all come off. The tank looks great. It never hurt it. I think it was because it was burning up so fast, you know, and I got it out pretty quick. So, as far as I know, I got everything right now I need. Oh, the blanket up under the tank. I thought, well, I'm going to look around. I went on Amazon. Here, aluminized heat barrier, adhesive backed. And it goes up to 2,000 degrees. A piece of blanket, and I kind of measured it. Well, it tells the measurement on here. I kind of measured it up real quick, but if I'd have to, I could even order another one, and this was $22.63 for this. So I feel like, you know, it was my fault. I don't feel so bad now because I know what I'm up against. I'm going to put the bike up on the lift, and what I'm going to do is just take my time, start there. I just cut grass, so I won't need the mower out for a while. I'm thinking of maybe tomorrow, take the bike out, take the mower out, put the bike in, bring the mower in. That way I can jack the bike up, and if I don't get to it right away, I can let it set. I can still get the mower out to mow grass. And a lot of other things have been happening. I had told about my leg being so bad. It's still bad. I've been having trouble. Then what happened was my son lives next door, and his porch roof out front was sagging. It had been sagging for quite a while, and all of a sudden it started getting worse. We figured we have to do something. So he works in the middle of the day. So the wife and I went up. We ripped the ceiling down. Oh man, it was a lot worse than what we thought. We got into that. We have to fix it. The days he wasn't working, he worked with us. Then there was days his son, my grandson, come up and helped us. We ripped the whole, everything off. All the framing was almost bad. It had leaked different places we didn't know about. And it really was in bad shape. There was only a handful of beams left that we could work with. So we worked off of that. Now his roof comes down away from the house, but on the ends it comes out this way. I didn't want it just straight down because it looks like a lean-to. It don't look right. I wanted to keep that shape. So I worked with what was there, and we got all new pieces put in. Then when that roof was so old, they had the old tongue and groove on the ceiling. Well, there you could span the beams across real far. Well, I had to put them on 16-inch centers because we're going to put plywood up there. Now that we're done, I told them you can just wait and, we'll take our time. Working up there, this leg's getting a little bit worse. Then I fell. I had a three-step, there was 3 steps on it, a stool, step stool, up on the deck. Now the deck's only maybe a 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the ground. I fell off. Every time I'd step down, I'm thinking 2, and then I'd have a long one and I'd almost fall. Well, I fell, hit the deck, bounced off, hit the ground. Hit my left knee on the one side real hard. Man, it hurt. So I'm working with that. Then I had another A-frame ladder over on the ground, up under this roof, working off of it. It started to go. Lois was there. She grabbed it and tried to hold on while I fell off the other side. Hit the right side of that knee, the same knee, hit it again. It swelled up. So by the time we're getting done, I'm up on the roof. I can't hardly get down with this knee. I got to keep my legs straight because it was so swollen. Doing it, I told Lois, I said, I can't get up there. And my son-in-law was helping me. I said, we can't get up there and nail every nail. Go get a gunner at Harbor Freight. So I went there, got a good deal on it, 20% off, and got a roofing nailer. Got that. Then I have a garage open end with 2 cars in there. All this wood my neighbor gave me. I mean, he gave me thousands of dollars worth of wood. He don't want it anymore. He ain't going to use it. We put it in there. Well, I pulled both cars out, left them out, and I'm in there, and I had to go through it. Of course, all the big stuff's at the bottom. You dig it out. So we were done. It took me 2 days to rearrange all that. I went out in the morning till late in the evening, arranging it all, fixing it, perfect, get it out of the way, get us more room. No sooner got that done, come in and sit down, she came in the house and she says, I smell gasoline outside. She went out, there's a little puddle under her car. I'm like, you can't, this is unreal. So I go out, back the car out, this is at night, put the jack under it, took the wheel off. The pipe that you put the hose in to fill it at the gas station, that pipe going down there, it was leaking. I said, oh man, we'll have to get that part. So I said, I'll take it off. That way in the morning we can go look for it. Here, when I pulled it out, the long side of it just rotted right out. It was like, oh man. I'm like, it's a good thing that didn't happen before. So go to the auto parts. They look it up. The guy has a computer there. We can't get it. He said, there's no aftermarket. He said, we can't even order it. But he had the part there, and I seen it was like $132, I think. What's next? Dealer. And you know what that is, big money. So I thought about it. I looked it over, and I told her, I said, I could come up with a way. I can make it. That top part that has your filler and everything, I can cut that off, and it goes from there. It just goes to a smaller pipe. It's all made together. It goes down and makes a bend and hooks onto a big hose. So I said, I could make that, but I need a metal bender, pipe bender. So I said, let's go over to Harbor Freight. Went over and bought that 12-ton hydraulic. I wanted the one you just pull, the hand one. It was cheaper. They didn't have it. I'm glad they didn't. So I got the hydraulic one, and it tells you in there when you use one of them, you got to pack your pipe with sand. So and I bent a piece just to try it. I had it around here. I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, worked great. So I put that all together and got it fixed. Now, she said, you know, if you'd have went to the dealer and paid that, you wouldn't have all this work. I said, yes, but for the same price, probably about the same price, I'm doing it myself. I'll always trade work for money. I get done, I have a pipe bender where you go buy it, you got the pipe, that's it. So I feel like I come out ahead. On the wife's car, this is the old part that come down. That just leaked a little wee bit up in here, and then this happened just by taking it out, bumping it. And this was a bracket on it that held this pipe away from the spring of the car. So as you can see, there's my new pipe. It really shows up. And up in there, I'd cut the top part off so I could use where you have the filler and everything to fill your fuel. And I put a piece of hose on there. Now that pipe going up and the one coming down, they don't touch. I don't want them rubbing each other. So I put that hose there and I bent this all, got it down, and then you can see my bracket right up under here if it shows up. There's the bracket I put on, and I put a bigger piece of pipe welded on it to push back on that. I had to lay it all out and go by the old bracket, and I could get it fixed. So I got that on and got it back on the hose, so everything's great. So now what I'm going to do is just get some undercoating or whatever I have. I think I have some undercoating. Spray all that, let it give it a little bit, and then there was a plastic sheath over this. It's like you put over a wiring loom, and I'm going to put it back on it. It was pull tied on. I'm going to do that. And back here where it's close to the car, I'm going to put a little piece of rubber back in there, get a piece of inner tube, wrap around it, then I'll put the plastic over top, and that'll be as good as new. But I never realized that would be that bad. I mean, wow. Once I took it out, I knew there was a little, you can even see the other side. But, hey, worked out good. Here's what it looks like up in here. This is the wiring to my dash. Down in here, it's really burned up the wiring. Here's the one sensor right off the main wiring. You can see it's clear down to the wires. Down in here's the other sensor. Got it good. The plug, and that's why I needed a, you know, whole wiring harness. This sensor I wouldn't trust. I marked them left and right. Other than that, I mean, there was some other wiring right here I had to cut off. I couldn't even get the plug apart. It was melted. But I'll eventually find it all. And everything else don't look too bad. So I just left it go. When we worked up there, I said, when I get to it, might even do it over the winter. I don't care. But we started getting the stuff. And my wife is so fantastic. When I see something, I'll tell her, I found this. Send it to me, I'll order it. She does all the ordering. And okay. I got the wiring, the carburetors, everything, and then when I seen this, I told her, I said, sometime I'll send that to you. She was in her office, I'm out in the kitchen, and I hollered in, I said, I found the stuff I need for up under that tank. I said, sometime, you know, I'll send it. Send it to me right now. She said, I'll order it. She ordered it that night. I tell you, you don't find many people like her, boy. She's amazing. She'll do anything for me. Up there on the roof, man, she's right there. Now, she won't get up on the roof. She's afraid of heights. But anything I need, and because of my leg being so bad, this one being sore and then the other one beat up. Oh, man, don't you come down. I'll get it. I'll bring it up to you. So thank goodness for her, because I'm like, you know, hey, I'll get this thing fixed. I mean, everything's going along good. It had to be in there, and I'll tell you what, the carburetor, I took it in one evening late, and I cleaned it. It looks like brand new. Beautiful. I mean, wow. Fantastic. And I couldn't believe it when I got it. Well, I seen it in the pictures. Yeah, the sensors on there. He left them right on there. I mean, what are they going to? He could have took them and sold them, you know, for another $20 or so, or whatever. But $175, and that was with shipping and everything. And then $55 for the wiring. I could not believe it. I thought, you know, both of these are expensive items. But you have to do your research, and what to do is, I even took, when he had that wiring on there and all the pictures, I took I took a snip of it, put it in with my photos, and in there you can really zoom in. I would zoom in, and I had my piece right there I could look at. You know, I had it right here, and I would look at them and match it. I said, everything's the same. So apparently the 2011, 2012 C50T are identical in that respect. So, whew.